Welcome back to Crownspiracies, the podcast where pageantry gets personal. Each week we're unwrapping the sparkle, the stories, and the secrets behind the crown. I'm Katie, and I'm here with Chrisanne, here to talk this week about pageant myths and mindset and everything around that. It's what we're calling it is it's all in your head. So everything is going to be about mindset this week, mindset around competing, and just overall how that portrays onto the stage. So super excited because this is one that is really important to us, especially being on, having the experience on both sides of the stage, behind stage as directors and staff members, and then also on stage as contestants. So, Chrisanne, you want to kick it off with our first opening segment, just about, our personal experiences with around mindset and what we've kind of learned over the years, just to set the tone here.
Back when I first got involved with pageantry, I was very, very little. And for me back then, it was all about fun. And that's when I found that I did really, really well. And as I got older, I started second guessing myself. I mean, as we do, especially in that like middle school, early high school age range. And then even into adulthood. But one thing that I started to notice was if I was competing against someone and spending my time stressing about competing against that particular person, 9 times out of 10, that person would beat me. And here I am thinking, oh, they're just better. When in reality, it's that my mindset has so much to do with the outcome of an event. And if I'm giving this person all of my power and all of my energy, I'm doing that to myself. So I think the big one, I was competing a few years ago, and there was a girl who was known to go from pageant to pageant to pageant to pageant, and she would win a lot. And I saw that she was competing, and I was like, oh, well, that's it right there. And my mom was like, by you doing that, you might as well just say, yeah, that is it. Pack the car and let's go home if that's going to be your mindset, because we see that all the time. I mean, that was me as a competitor, but like as a director, it's even more severe. Like we see that every single year. People throw themselves right out of the game because they see people competing. And this is part of the reason why we used to not allow the queens to post all of the delegates beforehand. So many of these girls would get so freaked out and so like in their heads before the competition even started. And you take yourself right out of the running. So now I don't really care. If you're going to do that to yourself, you're making it easier for the judges, genuinely.
Yeah.
They have a hard enough job judging you as it is, and they are giving you their attention and giving you a fair shot. It's up to you of whether or not you take that fair shot.
Yeah. And I think it kind of ties into almost like, imposter syndrome is so prevalent in just everyday life today. I mean, especially being, when I was first leaving college and like going into the corporate world, like I had a huge imposter syndrome of like, what am I getting myself into? Like, this was my first real big girl job out of college, going into a corporate professional setting, all of that. So I feel like that's kind of where the imposter syndrome comes into play too, of you're, like you said, psyching yourself out, you're taking yourself out of the game. And then that's going to come through on stage as one of 2 ways I see. It's either going to come across as you don't care or you're so incredibly nervous. And either way, that's not a good look for the judges to have that be, especially in our case, your first event is on stage in a very high energy runway competition. So if that is their first impression of you, that's not going to be a good one that they continue on throughout the week, with. Obviously, they're going from event to event and they're judging based on different things. Like when it comes to gown, you're judging the poise, but like they still have that very first impression of you in their minds, like looking at you the rest of the week on stage. So all in all, right there, it's going to make or break what your pageant week experience is like. Not even like results aside, it's going to affect just how your overall week is. You're not going to be able to enjoy yourself. You're not going to be able to make friends and really open yourself up because you're just so closed off, because in your head, you're just constantly feeding this negative voice of this isn't my time. I'm not going to win just because somebody else might be competing against you, or just because you have the largest division, like you have the most competition in it. Like that doesn't matter. You're competing against yourself, and you're the only, it's yours to lose at that point. And I think that kind of ties into our second part of this of just, being confident versus cocky. Like there's a lot to do with walking in there on one side with the mindset of, oh, I'm not going to win, or mindset of, oh, this is mine. I'm taking it home right now. Like I'm going to walk out with the crown right now. That also can bite you in the behind, because at the end of the day, if you're going to walk in with that cocky, arrogant attitude, that's also going to come through. So there's a fine line between having the confidence of, I know that I can do this, but also not, I'm the only person that can win this. It's a very fine line that you have to stay between with that. I feel like when you're just there to enjoy yourself and have fun and you're just relaxed, that's where that balance comes in, and you find that, because you're not worried about what everybody else is saying or what everybody else is wearing. You're only worried about yourself and improving yourself. So I feel like going into any pageant with that mindset of just, I'm either winning or I'm growing. I'm winning or I'm learning. I'm not necessarily losing anything. I think that's my biggest piece and takeaway from just years of competing, and also just seeing it on the other side. I mean, I've seen girls like get physically ill for the thought of going on stage because they're so incredibly nervous. Like if you just go up there and you just kind of leave it all out on the stage, you're at that point very well prepared. You've either practiced yourself with your mom, or you hired a coach that you've paid thousands of dollars for. At that point, you're either ready or you're not. So you might as well just go up there and give it your all, because there's 30 extra minutes of practice at that point in the hallway is not going to change anything for you.
I think too, going off of what you said about like the over arrogance, the cockiness, what tends to happen with that as well, because yeah, judges can smell that in 2 seconds. If you think this is yours and you have it in the bag, they can sniff that out. And it's just like, it's a subliminal and subconscious thing that you're putting off. That's just like like the judges are like, whoa, like too much. And what tends to happen is you're overly inflating yourself. And then when you don't win because they sense the cockiness, it's like someone popped your balloon, and the higher you inflate yourself, the longer you have to fall back down. And going off of that as well, too, if your mental health is determined on whether or not you win or lose a pageant, I think the time to take a step back and reflect, you're past that point, because the opinion of 5 strangers, like I'm just talking at IUM, some pageants have 3 judges, some pageants have 10 judges. The opinion of however many strangers are on that panel is not a representation of your worth. And if you genuinely get done from a pageant, like the pageant ends, you don't win, and you can't get out of bed for a week, that's a problem. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying like,
no, it's true.
If you're going into something else, get yourself the mental help that you do need, and make yourself the best version of yourself. That way, when you try again, because we all know people say they retire all the time and they're back 2 weeks later. But when you do try again, you don't have that insane amount of pressure on your head that you have to win. And if you don't, it's gonna send you into a tizzy. That can't happen. This is a hobby at the end of the day. And your mindset has everything to do with the results.
Yeah. This goes for the same as the parents that are there supporting their children. I mean, if you think about how much pressure your daughter is already putting on herself, or your cousin, whoever, your sister, whoever you're there supporting it, because it goes for family members. It doesn't have to just be mom. If you think about already the amount of pressure that your delegate is putting on themselves already, now you also have the added stress of you helicoptering around them right before they're about to go on stage, in their ear, fixing their hair, fixing this, remember to do this. They already have so much going on that they're like, even, I'm not talking about just little ones, I'm talking about full grown adults. Their brains are going to short circuit if you're giving them too much information, because they're already trying to remember everything they have to do. They're already trying to remember, keep my shoulders back, keep my smile up. How are my eyes? Are they too big or are they too small? Like what do I look like? What am I presenting myself as? So now your stress of just being yip, yip, yap, yap in their ear is driving them nuts. So that's why, I mean, from my personal experience, I always told my mom, like, listen, love you. I appreciate all the help and support. I need 10 minutes before I go on stage of just peace and quiet, just to get my mind set and my thoughts contained, because that's when I'm going to go on stage feeling the most relaxed and feeling the most confident. Because especially when you're thinking about everything that you need to do, that also comes across. I mean, you know, there's so many pictures of me from the ages of like 6 till like 10, I think, where every single time I was on stage, especially when we were competing in circuit pageants where there were full blown routines, like you had to do certain steps at certain spots. Like it wasn't just a general stage pattern that everybody was following. You had your own routine. You can tell in the photos where I'm actively thinking about what I have to do next. It comes across in my face because then I drop my smile. I'm still smiling, but it's not real. You can tell. It's very easy to tell.
You're thinking, yeah.
Right. I mean, that's why I always give the parents, especially just on like our Facebook lives that we do, like the one that I do, my biggest advice, leave your child or your delegate alone. They've got it. Believe me, you've either prepared them yourself for 6 months, or you paid someone thousands of dollars to do it. They're good. Just leave them be. That's why everybody always laughs when I kick parents out from just this year when we didn't have like a backstage area. We had to just congregate everybody in the hallway. I yelled, I'm like, bye moms, bye, see ya. Ballroom's that way. You can enter through that door all the way down there. See ya.
All the way down there.
Yeah, leave them alone. Because honestly, I see everybody's just like nitpicking, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Because the other thing too is that negative talk that I hear. So like 9 times out of 10, it comes after the competition is over, and they'll be like, the mom, I see it all the time. You didn't do this. Remember the year where the little girl gets up on stage for introduction? She was a little itty bit. She was in one of the 2 younger divisions. And she gets up for intro, and she just like stares off into nothing. And then she just like started saying, I guess maybe her spokesmodel or some other speech, but she finished with her name. And the judges were so impressed by the fact that, at that age, you didn't just run off, you finished. Mm-hmm. So she didn't get all these many points off, but the mother reamed her out so badly after a personal introduction that child went in like a deer in the headlights to that interview. And guess what happened? She was winning. She was winning even after messing up her introduction.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So much of that is your mindset. You went in and you popped that little girl's balloon before the biggest event of the weekend.
And it's not even just like about the competition itself. Like I'm not a parent, so I can't speak from a parent's perspective, but being a child growing up in this hobby and doing this, of getting on stage and putting myself out there, if I were to hear my mom berate me after I did something wrong, like I would carry that with me through life. Like that is just childhood trauma just actively being stored, babe. No, you're going to be paying for a lot more than a pageant at the end of the day. You're going to be paying for therapy, and lots of it, because why are you screaming at your child that's, first of all, 5 years old? Even if they're a teenager, there's no reason for that. This is a hobby, and the whole purpose of pageantry in itself is to lift young women and girls up to want to feel empowered to speak publicly or to be able to confidently network with people. Like, you're missing the whole point here. It's not clicking, because you screaming at your daughter in the hallway is such an embarrassing look for you, not for me. So that's why I always remind the parents, I'm like, mindset isn't just about the kids and the girls that are going to be getting on stage. It's y'all too, because even the negative self-talk, if it's not done publicly, even if it's done privately, carries with them. So yeah, I mean, I could go on with some crazy, crazy stories about all that. But
the other thing I do want to touch on before we move on is the mindset of your fellow competitors. So for example, if you are sitting in a group of girls and they are the delegates who are competing for the same title as you, or even in a different division, if you hear someone that's talking negative, that mindset is going to poison your mindset. Remove yourself from these from the negative people, because I promise you that poisons your entire experience. And if someone's super negative, just get up and move away.
Yeah.
We saw that this year at IUM.
I mean, also, don't be afraid to speak up of like, hey, like, if you're just constantly hearing them negative, like, don't be afraid to ask and be like, hey, did you have anything positive? Like, it doesn't have to be in a condescending way, but just like, hey, like, listen, we're all trying to lift each other up. Like, let's talk about something more positive. Like, actively change the subject. Like, be a leader in that sense of, this is, because I'm sure that you're not the only person that's hearing this negative self-talk. There's other people that are hearing this as well. So you're saving the whole group from this negative mindset just creeping in on everybody. So don't be afraid to, speak out and speak up, because it's, at the end of the day, it's not fair to everyone that's having to listen to that. If you're not the one doing it, if you're having to sit around and listen to it, and so are other people, like, by all means, I always encourage that. I'm like, let's not let's change the subject, something lighter, something happier, something more positive.
For sure. I think too, your mindset throughout the week, I believe in positive affirmations. I believe in positive talk. I believe in setting realistic goals and small goals for each day. That way you accomplish a win each day you're there, because it keeps you on the positive mindset track. I truly believe that the second you start being negative, or the second your mindset slips, that's when you're not gonna compete to the best of your ability anymore. But I think, again, let's say, for example, you're going into interview and one of your small goals is, hey, you know what I would like to do? I would like to make a judge laugh today. And guess what? You go in there and you accomplish that. That's a win.
Right. Or even like something, if you were tripping over your skirt in practice for fun fashion, or you were flubbing on a word in your introduction, like let that be your goal. Like, I got through that part of my intro, or I nailed that one turn where my dress kept getting caught under my feet. Like that, though, even those small goals are what is going to be the motivation to keep going positively. And, you don't necessarily, like, one thing that I always, when it comes to positive act, like, you don't have to like psych yourself up like you're going into war. Like, you don't have to like have this like over inflated like, just be relaxed and just be yourself, because
Right.
that's what they're looking for. And especially with us, we tell them, like, we're looking for the girl who, yes, is polished on stage and very put together, but is also having the most fun and is also just comfortable on stage. And you'll be able to tell the difference of who's comfortable up there and who is, you know, putting on a show at the end of the day. Because I get that it's a performance when you look at it objectively, but it's also about just being able to be so natural up there that people don't think that you're performing. Like, they just think that that's who you are. And that's what draws people to you. And that's what we're looking for in a representative. Haha, it completes the whole circle. Would you look at that?
Yes. And also, when I'm talking about affirmations, I'm not saying I am the next Miss Pickle Princess. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, I am confident. I am capable. I can do this. I've got this. Like, I can do this. That's more of, and I'm not saying I've got this as in the competition. I'm talking about I can go into this interview room and I can have this conversation.
Right. I can do this.
I'll go in, I am Miss Pickle Princess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, psyching yourself like you're going into war and going into battle. It's a hobby, babe. We're going on stage for our evening gown competition, listening to Tennessee Orange for the 19 millionth time. So let's back it down a couple notches. But yeah, I think this would be a good time too to kind of give more context around how many people actually experience this. So I have my little notes here so I can make sure I get it right. There was a 2024 study at the Victoria University in Melbourne, Australia, and it involved 165 current and retired athletes, because a lot of people, I agree, pageantry is a sport, it's a hobby. You spend a lot of time, energy, money, sweat, and tears dedicated to preparing for a pageant like you would a sport. So out of those 165 current or retired athletes, there were 77% of them that reported experiencing some type of performance anxiety in the past year. And there was an average of roughly 18 incidents in that last year. So 18 times, 77% of those people said that they had some type of performance anxiety going on before an event or before starting a game, depending on what type of athlete they were. And of those that were still active athletes, about 55% of them faced an incident of performance anxiety in the past month. So it's much more common than you think. Everybody is feeling the same nerves and energy. I mean, it's a lot to put yourself out there, and public speaking is the number one fear in America. So right there in itself, you have a lot of anxiety stepping on that stage and being in the spotlight, but it's normal. I mean, everybody does go through those periods. I mean, even me personally, like the first time that I step on that stage, even to MC, I'm like, oh God, frontal lobe has to develop further, get it all together up here. Because I mean, it's just, you're putting yourself out there. You're on live stream for thousands of people to see. Like, it's not an easy feat. So you're not alone when we say that this is normal, but the biggest thing is not letting it affect you. So there were, with that, 10 medically reviewed tips to overcome performance anxiety. And no, it's not from Dr. Google. It's an actual article from verywellhealth.com, written by psychologist Dr. Ashley Olivine and reviewed by a board-certified psychiatrist, Dr. Michael McIntyre. So First one was to seek emotional support from others you trust. So again, kind of comes back to what you were saying about making sure that your mental health is in check when you're stepping into this arena and you're stepping into pageant week. You want to make sure that you're good up there, because if you have other stuff going on, that's what you should be focusing on. Don't like make that the priority. So making sure that you have support emotionally from others, whether that be a therapist, whether that be family, friends, a coach, whoever that may be, make sure that you have that so that you're not kind of just taking this all in on your own. Get plenty of sleep the night before a performance. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're well rested, we're focused, we're ready to go. Eat a healthy meal beforehand to avoid anything like dizziness, hunger, low blood sugar. I know that's happened to me, and sometimes it's a little bit too much. Like the time that I world record 18 pixie sticks before going on stage for an event, and I had so much energy that I won best in that competition. Remember that? Best swimsuit? Just 18 pixie sticks, just down them right before. So make sure you have like actual food and not that, and not Alani News like we all survive off of during pageant week. On that, avoid caffeine or excessive sugar, which can make you jittery. So learn from my mistakes of going up there and literally vibrating behind the podium because I had too much caffeine that day. Yeah, don't do that. Don't make those same mistakes. Another good one, do light exercise beforehand to stimulate your endorphins. So it could be like yoga, stretching in your room before you get dressed, quick walk if you have time, like outside or just around the hotel. Like just get your mindset right. My personal recommendation with like if you're doing like a walk or yoga, listen to some type of meditation or maybe even your favorite podcast. You can listen to Crownspiracies if you want. But listen to something that's going to calm you down or like get you in a good mindset or make you laugh even. Like I have so many podcasts that I love listening to that are just for pure entertainment. I mean, that's something that I always listen to. Make sure that you're prepared. Practicing can make you more confident, obviously. So we've talked about this. At that point, we know that you're prepared, but even just doing one last quick run through, hyping yourself up of like, nailed it, got it, we're good to go, gonna rock it on stage, whatever you got to do to make yourself in that right headspace of like, I can do this, I'm confident, and I'm capable of doing what I need to do. With that, visualize completing the task or performance well. So picture yourself getting off of the stage, nailing that spin that you were struggling with, or getting off stage and nailing your introduction, like the part that you were previously having issues with. You got through that with no stutters, ate it up, ate down, sideways, whatever the kids are saying nowadays. So visualize yourself actually doing the thing. Try deep breathing or meditation to calm yourself down. So again, I see a lot of this before, usually personal introduction. I'm not one to bring my phone backstage, but I do know that that is something that a lot of girls will do. Instead of listening to other people's introductions, they'll put in their headphones and either listen to themselves or listen to music. I think that that's very helpful when it comes to just tuning out. Also can come in handy with like tuning out negativity, like just, not even entertaining listening to that. Staying positive, rejecting any negative thoughts by reminding yourself of your goals, why you're there to win or to learn, and then reframing failure as an ongoing process of learning with that, because you can't learn if you don't try and fail. We've all been there. We've all had our experiences of feeling like we're going to win it. We go in there and it's not the outcome that we were hoping for. We've all been there. We've all lived that, including ourselves. So as long as you're framing that as what can I learn from this experience? What did I learn about myself? Reading your scores and comments. And that's the reason that we give the original score sheets at the end of the competition, so you can see the feedback and see the comments of what the judges thought. And again, it's 5 strangers' opinion of you. It's not the end of the world. It should not affect who you feel you are as a person. But if you're looking to continue to grow and succeed in pageantry, that's a great way to know what you need to work on next. So those are the 10 medically reviewed tips from verywellhealth.com. I think those are pretty nice little bow on everything that we talked about.
Again, I just want to reiterate again one more time about if you are not prioritizing your own mental health, please make sure that we're doing so. The result of a competition should not affect your mental health and how you feel about yourself. So if you are feeling thoughts like that, or you're thinking and your thoughts are getting a little dark, please go and get some help, and please talk to somebody, and reaching out. Like if you don't have family that's supportive, I'm sure there's someone that you can reach out to that would be happy to help you in any capacity, because I've been on TikTok lately and I've been scrolling, and some of the posts that I'm seeing on TikTok are alarming.
Yeah.
The results of a competition should not affect how you feel about yourself in any capacity.
Yeah.
And until you are able to separate that, it's time to take a step back and prioritize you, because you are very important in all of this. And also, too, if you're not going out there healthy and in your best state of mind and with that positive mentality, you're not putting your best self out there. And how do you expect the judges to see that you would be the best person for the job if you're not putting your best self out there?
Agreed. And that also goes for parents too, like we talked about. They, and when I say they, I mean your children, or even if they're a full grown adult and they're not a kid, they're going to feed off of the energy that you also give them and that you are also surrounding with them. So I had an actual experience this past year where a parent came up to me and was just, wanting to know more as to why her daughter didn't win. And she cited that one of the reasons was because, when she doesn't win, she gets really down on herself and she gets really upset with herself. And I immediately was like, that is the wrong attitude to have when it comes to pageantry, because if you're going to take to heart, if I took personally every single negative comment or correction, whether it was constructive or not, that somebody gave me, I'd be in the psych ward with the group. I'd be on a grippy sock vacation right now. I'm being so serious right now. I know I'm joking, but like, if I took to heart every single negative comment or correction that somebody gave me, I would be mentally unstable, because that is just insane to take that to heart of what a stranger has to say.
Do you remember the time at the one pageant? And I adore like the direction this pageant has gone in, so it's nothing against the pageant. This was one particular staff member, and it was an isolated incident. Mm-hmm. She came up to me at the pool when I was in my swimsuit, and when she's like, "Oh, are you coming back next year?" And I would have gone back till the cows came home. And she said, "Well, can I give you some advice for next year?" In my swimsuit at the pool. And I was like, "Sure." And she's like, "They don't want a heavy-set Ms."
I remember that.
That can do a lot of damage to somebody. So as like my also advice, I know it's so much about your mindset and how you take things. Like, I'm very confident in myself. I know I'm like you would consider like plus to mid-sized person, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. But also really think about your words and how they will affect someone else, because you don't know what someone's going through in their everyday life. Like, for example, I'll never forget the day it was like I went back to work after my mom died like 3 days later. And the person I dealt with at work was like the meanest meanie. That's all I'm going to say. The meanest meanie that I ever dealt with at Sephora. And I'm like, you have you haven't a clue. I'm at my limit. Like, you don't know how close someone is to their limit. So again, at the end of the day, choose kindness. Moms, be kind to your daughters. Fellow competitors, be kind. We don't want a mean queen.
Mm-mm.
And be kind to yourself. That's my advice. Be kind.
Yeah, I agree. It's all, and especially the context around things that you're saying, always try to think before you speak. I know there's things that we all make mistakes. We're all human, that something comes out the way that we didn't intend it to. Make sure that if that's the case, you correct yourself right away, because that will stay with someone for years on end. So if there's something that came out not the way that you meant it, make sure that you correct yourself and say, listen, that, just take accountability, take ownership. Like, that's a big thing too when it comes to mindset. And we'll kind of talk about this in future episodes about just like holding yourself accountable, holding others accountable for things that they say, standing up for what's right, and just, how to properly communicate with other people in the industry in every capacity. So we'll talk more on that in future episodes, but just overall, keep in mind that context of, how does this sound to somebody? How is this coming out? And if it comes out wrong, just correct yourself. Say, listen, that was not my intention. What I meant was this. So big thing in today's society of just learning when to keep your mouth shut too. Not everything needs to be said out loud. Some thoughts can stay up here. That's quite all right. So remember that.
And take a breath. Like, after you read those score sheets, the worst thing to do, like, first of all, the worst thing to do is to rip open those score sheets in public. Take them back to your room, process, have a sleep, maybe get yourself home, have a meal like at home, sleep in your bed, and then email the international or national office or state office or local office. Remember that we are humans too. So the way that you're speaking to us, is a big one, and that can determine your reputation with that entire brand. Like, we have literally banned people based on, and it comes down to their negative mindset, and like that negativity is not permitted or allowed at IUM. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. We'll talk more on that, but always remembering. Always never forget what you said. Got a memory of an elephant, babe. I'm always going to keep that locked and loaded and ready to go. So if you say something out of pocket, best believe we're going to keep that same energy and we will not open our doors to you if you're going to have that same mentality. But before we go, just a quick little game of rapid fire stage fright or spotlight. So I'll give you the prompt. You tell me what your immediate thought is. You forget your intro on stage, meltdown or mind reset?
Mind reset and try and make it work while on stage and finish with my name. At least they know who I am. How about you?
Agreed. Just wrap it up with like favorite color, favorite hobby, maybe your favorite current TV show. Thank you so much. I am Katie Sauer. That's all you need to say. Just keep it going. It's about how you recover, not as far as what exactly you're saying. If it comes out weird, it comes out weird. At least you didn't run off stage. That's what's most important. Your roommate wins the crown. Jealousy or joy?
I'm more happy. Of course, there's that little bit like, oh, like I wish, but at the same time, I'm happy for my friend. It's not jealousy. It's happiness. How about you?
100%. I agree. It's going to be a little bit of, I'm happy for you. You're deserving. It was your time, but of course, it's always going to be a, what could I have done differently? But again, that's where it kind of looking at it as not of jealousy, but as what else can I do? What can I do differently that will get me into that position? Because also at the same time, you have other experiences where people are looking at you the same way of you won, they didn't. What they're looking at either with you, looking at you with either jealousy or what can I do differently that will get me into that position? So you never know.
A judge gives you no eye contact. Is that sabotage or neutrality?
I lean more towards neutrality on this because some of the judges that I've encountered just in places where I have done well as far as results go, the ones that scored me the highest were the ones that didn't look at me the entire time because they were feverishly writing comments or they had known from the time that I stepped out that I was, 10 out of 10 or whatever their score was. Like they knew from that first initial impression. So I lean more towards neutrality. If they're doing other things like looking at their phone or like flipping through their book, that's a different story. But I would lean more towards neutrality if they're not looking at you, but they're actively writing on their score sheet.
Yeah, and the word sabotage is very strong. People come up with the craziest, I don't even know, stories and ideas of why their child or themselves or whatever did not win. And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it is not sabotage. What does really happen, and it's tough for judges, is sometimes a judge will be like, she just didn't, like, there's just something, like, it didn't click. That's all it is. It's not that they hate you. It's just like, like there's just something's missing. And that's okay. Everyone's entitled. Not everyone is going to like me. And I'm at a place in my life where that's fine. Yeah. I don't think that people are out to sabotage me, though.
Yeah. And it takes a long time to get there of not taking to heart what people say and not caring what others' opinions are. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but when you figure out how to do that, and we talked about this in the first mini episode, when it clicked for me, it clicked everywhere in life in general. So once you get to that point of truly not caring, and I know a lot of that comes with age and just letting go and learning to let go, you're going to be a lot better off in just life in general, because there's always going to be people that don't like you, and that's okay. But yeah, I mean, sabotage is quite a strong word to use at this point. But yeah, I mean, I promise you no one's out to get you. And if they are, you're in the wrong system. So we'll leave it at that.
But also, too, if you are under the impression that everyone is out to get you, take a look in the mirror and just reevaluate, because in life, that's really not the case. The amount of times I was worried about what other people were thinking, and in reality, they probably don't even think of me once. So that's a mindset that you need to remove from yourself, is that mindset that everyone's out to get you, because I promise you they're not. So many people are so invested in their own lives and what's going on around them, and they have too much going on to worry about sabotaging you. I promise.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of people during pageant week, they've got so much going on. Everybody's busy during pageant week. Nobody has time to go out of their way to make sure that you purposely mess up or something. But yeah, I mean, stage fright or spotlight, I feel like everything is just all about how you recover, even if you mess up. I mean, it happens, and then how you move on from that positively, or if you let the negativity consume you. And that's your own choice to make, babe. So my advice, our Queen's orders for the week. Before your next appearance or event, write down 3 things you love about yourself off stage, not on stage. 3 things that you love about yourself personally. Let that be the energy that you keep when you walk into this appearance or this event, or before you walk on stage. Write it down on a little sticky note and put it on your mirror if you're getting ready. Read those over to yourself. Remember that you are a good person. Remember the things that you love about yourself, because that's what's going to keep you in a positive mindset if the results don't go your way, or it's not the outcome that you hoped for. So that's our Queen's orders for this week, is to write down those 3 things about yourself off stage. Not, I look so beautiful in my gown, my hair is perfect today. Look in here for that. So
And I do have one crown her moment, and I know it's not on our script, but I did want to say this because it does go back to mindset. And as a director, one thing that I am not afraid to do is give other people their flowers. So, in my opinion, the crown her moment, I don't know her personally. I've never met her. I've never had a conversation with her. I just see the image that she's putting out on social media. I see that she is also another director. Her name is India. She runs the America's International Miss, I think it's called. The reason why I'm giving her her spotlight, I see everything that she does for those girls, and I see that it comes from her heart, and I admire that. And that is exactly what we do here. And if you are on that same wavelength, I support you 150%. I see when people are doing good things. This industry needs more Indias. And I just want to say good job to you. I see you. We all see you. Well done. And if you know her, tag her in the comments so she can see that we gave her the shout out here at the end. But I think it's important to, regardless of, we're 2 different systems, but it's important to give kudos when someone is doing it for the right reasons and doing things right. So well done, India.
here's your crown. We'll insert a little image here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. There's been so much negativity surrounding pageantry for too long that there isn't enough focusing on the positives. And we'll talk more about the craziness and the crazy stories that we've gone through, but we need more people that will do the right thing and that will continue to support and uplift young women and girls and will be in this industry for the right reasons. So, yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our first full episode, which is amazing and exciting. If you guys have any stories or questions or anything that you want to share with us, email crownspiracies@gmail.com. Might be featured on the pod. If you are, make sure it's clean, doesn't mention anyone. If you want to say anonymous, please also include that in your email with your story or your confession or your question, whatever it may be. But for now, thanks for tuning into Crownspiracies, where every crown has a story. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share with your Sparkle Squad. And we'll see you next week under the lights.